Welcome to Flash Tutorial Request 15, Display a Variable. I'm opening a new FLA document, ActionScript 3, and we're going to start by making a text box. So call this layer Text, T-E-X-T, select frame 1 of that layer, just pulling this up. Pick up your text tool, let's make a text box, and let's put in here 100. Doesn't matter what color, it doesn't matter at all. Open the properties panel and make sure that classic text is selected here. Make sure dynamic text is selected here, and we're going to call this display text, display_txt. And while we're at it, down here, embedded, click this embedded, and here uppercase, lowercase, numbers, and punctuations, and over here is the OK button. You can't see it. OK. Lock this layer, insert a layer, call it button, B-U-T-T-O-N. Select the first frame of that layer, pick up your rectangle tool or oval tool, whatever happens to be open here. Make a rectangle or oval or square. Pick the selection tool up, highlight it, go up to modify, convert it to a symbol, make sure button is selected, and let's call this change, CHANGE_BTN. Now let's copy this name, right click, copy it, close this. And right up here, if you don't have this properties panel open, there it is there. Open the properties panel, make sure the button is selected, and you can see we have it. And in here, paste that instance name. There's the instance name, change button. Lock all these layers, make sure the buttons layer is selected, insert a layer, make sure that layer is on top, call this AS as an action script. Select the first frame, open the actions panel. I'm going to close my properties panel because it's in my way here. And we have to make a variable. If we're going to display a variable, we have to make a variable. So type. VAR turns purple. I'm calling it my number, capital M, capital N. You can use anything in here as long as it doesn't change colors. Colon, number, N-U-M-B-E-R, that turns blue, equals 28. Just a random value I picked, and a semicolon. Now if I tested this movie, absolutely nothing's going to happen. I'm just going to see that dynamic text here with the 100 in it. This button hasn't been assigned any functions yet. So now let's assign something to that button we just made. So under this first line, you can skip a line if you want. Type. And this is the code that allows the button to do something. So here's that button, change_BTN, capital C, period, add event listener, small a, capital E, capital L, that turns blue. Open bracket, mouse event, capital M, capital E, that will turn blue. Period, capital C, L, I, C, K, those letters are all capitals, they'll turn blue if it's all spelt right. Comma, and I'm calling this function make change, capital M-A-K-E, capital C-H-A-N-G-E, close bracket, semicolon. Again, you can put anything in here as long as it doesn't change colors. If it changes to a blue or a purple, those are reserved words. So here's the actual function, F-U-N-C-T-I-O-N, turns purple. I copied make change and paste it in here. Open bracket, event, small e, V-E-N-T, colon. I copied most event with the capital M and the capital E, paste it in here, close bracket, colon, void. Void is the same color as function. There's the open bracket for my function, and as you start to type, usually this second closed curly bracket comes in. If not, you have to put it in. And we're going to do two things. We're going to, that variable, my number, which started at 28, we're going to tell it to become equal to 50. And to see if that happened, we're going to trace that variable. So my number, capital M, capital N, equals 50, semicolon. Trace turns blue, open bracket. You can copy my number and paste it in, close bracket, semicolon. And what we'll see is when we run this, if indeed we trace 50, we know that the button worked and we know that we changed the variable. So let's test it. Nothing changed here. If I press the button, nothing changes here, but my output panel displays 50, which means the button works. Now all we got to do is make this change when we look at it with the browser. So I'm selecting this trace line, entering, and I'm typing in this short code. Type. Display text, that's that box, that box we made. Period text, letting it know it's a text box, equals my number, semicolon. Now you think that this would display this number, this value 50. And I believe in ActionScript 2 it did. So let's just test this for a minute. And we get an error. We get an error, and it's implicit coercion of value number, and that simply means it's not going to work, and because that is a function of ActionScript 2. So here, instead of just having my number, we have to have this. Open bracket, my number, close bracket, period, two strings, small t, capital S, turns blue if it's spelt right, open and close bracket, semicolon. So now I believe this will work. Control, test movie, test. I have no errors. I have my 100. When I press this, it changes to 50. So that's how you display a variable. I hope you learned something from this tutorial, and I hope you use what you learned.